Alright, let's look at the homework 1.2, problem number 8. Right, so we have, let's say, the manager of a furniture factory finds that it costs $2,600 to manufacture 80 chairs in one day, and $4,800 to produce 280 chairs in one day. Right, express the cost C as a function of the number of chairs X produced. Right, so let's do that, assuming that it's going to be a linear, so it's going to be a linear function. Alright, so let's do that. Alright, so let's see, we can think of it as, let's see, so each of these gives you a point. So you can think of it as, so X value, and oops, maybe I should use blue. Right, X value, so X1, comma, right, instead of Y, since it's a cost, I'm going to call it C1. Right, so when X is 80, then corresponding cost is 2,600. Right, then X is so X2 and a C2. Right, let's see, when X is 280, then cost is 4,800. Right, so basically we need to find the equation of the line going through these 2 points. Right, so let's find the we need a slope. So first piece of information we need would be a slope. Alright, slope is going to be simply so M is C2, so it's a 4,800 minus C1, so it's 2,600 over 280 minus 80. Right, that will give us a slope, and which is going to be, let's see, 2,200 over 200, which is going to be, so strike out zeros, and 22 divided by 2 is 11. Right, so slope is 11. Right, then we need to have a point, so second, any point. So I'll just use the first point, so I'm gonna call it X, so I'm gonna use X1 and C1. This is 80, comma 2,600. Right, so you can use something called point slope form. So point slope form for the line of for the equation of a line. It goes something like this. Usually Y, but we have to use C. So C minus C1 instead of Y minus Y1 is equal to slope M times quantity C, oh actually not C, X, I meant X minus X1. Right, so let's plug in. So we know everything, so this, following the form, right, C is C, so that's the cost, minus C1, so C1 is 2,600, is equal to, slope is 11, and X minus X1 is 80. Right, so if you distribute 11 to X and 11 to negative 80, you will get, so it's 11X minus 880. Right, then all you have to do is just add 2,600 to both sides, so C is equal to 11X, then you add 2,600, so 2,600 minus 880, so that would be 0. let's see, 0 minus 0 is 0, and 0 minus h, so it's 2, we have to borrow 1. So 5 minus h, so you have to borrow, so it's going to be 7, and so there's going to be 1 left, so it's 1720. Right? So this is the function, so 11x plus 1720. Right? So let's look at that. So let's type it in. Okay, so the function we found was 11x plus 1720. Right? And the graph, corresponding graph will be, so y-intercept is, sorry, I should say c-intercept will be 1720. So looks like this is it, and this is not right, and this one's not right, and this is right. But, oops, sorry. And slope is 11, so slope is positive, so it's definitely this guy, because this one is increasing, this guy is decreasing. Right, so what is the slope of the graph? So that's 11. Right, what does it represent? Right, so it represents the number of chairs produced? No, it represents the cost in dollars of producing each additional additional chair. Sorry. So this sounds right, and this represents the time. No, C is a cost, and it represents the cost in dollar of operating the factory daily. So that's not it. So it represents that. All right, and what is the y-intercept of the graph? So that's 1720. Right, what does it represent? Represents the number of chairs produced? No. Represents the cost of producing? No. It represents the time? No. It represents the fixed daily cost, right? Because if you produce no chair, that's going to be the cost. So it's a fixed cost. So that's that. And that's it. So let's check the answer. Submit for testing. Alright, it came back. Looks like we got the part A correctly. We got the correct graph, and slope is right, and we what it represents correct. Part C is all correct. Alright, that's it. I hope that this was clear.